The presidency says he has uncovered a plot by some divisive elements seeking to topple the Buhari administration. A statement issued by the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, alleged that some persons have planned to hold an illegal conference where a vote of no confidence will be passed on the president. The presidency says it will deal with any group that does anything to undermine the democratically elected government in the country. So joining me now to make sense of all of this is a public affairs commentator, Akin Fatunke. It's nice to have you join me this morning.
Thank you very much,
Great.
Mike. Nice to be here.
Yeah.
And good morning.
As usual.
Nigeria.
Great. Now, it was all over the headline yesterday when, the federal government, in fact, some headlines said the federal government raised alarm, about likelihood or element. In fact, there was the use of the word disgruntled element, to topple government, and all of that. I wonder what you make of a situation like this where the government is raising an alarm like that. Some people have called it diversionary, some people have called it distracting and all of that. But then, talk to us from your perspective.
My perspective is simple and what an irony. My friend Femi Adesina was speaking on behalf of government based on a perception that I think government has. Same Femi Adesina, around about now, in May 2017, was issuing a statement telling Nigerians to disregard rumors, what then he described as rumors, on account of people being dissatisfied with what was happening to Mr. President Buhari, on account of his health issues that he had about 4 years ago. And what an irony now that Femi is now saying that the federal government is getting rather from the DSS, rather from, dissonances here and there, agitations that even the blind, the deaf, and perhaps the dumb can perceive, that's gone all over the country. Are we going to be looking at what is happening in the northeast? The jihadist insurgency gaining ground at a time when we thought 6 years after, according to the promise of the present government, was going to be exterminated. Yes, we saw positive moves at the initial stage. Suddenly, from nowhere, they seem to be holding sway. Or what we are having in the northwest, the kidnapping, Shulai, and by the way, my heart goes out to the parents of all that have been kidnapped. Luckily, they've gone out, and there is absolutely nobody that will tell you, except perhaps government itself, choosing to lie to itself, unfortunately, for reasons best known to itself, that ransom has not gone out. Or are we going to be looking at the southeast, where separatists are attacking security agents, and they're all gone and they are going out there free of charge? We are waiting now for South, I guess, to now do their thing in their little way. The center seems not to be holding. I guess W.B. Yeats had Nigeria in mind when he was talking about center not being able to hold. Now, clearly, everything points to the fact that the ruled, now we have rulers, I've just talked about rulers now, not leaders. I hope we'll get them to be leaders. Now, we have the ruled.
Is the ruled, from your perspective, is the ruled that we have?
The ruled, yes. We are the ruled. We've been making the points. We don't think we are being ruled properly. We don't think we have fairness. We don't think we have justice. We don't think the rule of law is being taken on to the letter. We think the rulers tend to look at what aspects of law we should be looking at. We haven't seen situations, in my honest opinion, where we see those who are in charge of policies up to the presidency level, National Assembly, scoring old goals. I will say you are scoring old goals. And when you score an old goal, when you are playing away, it counts double. It's jeopardy. And you keep on saying that many of us are talking rubbish. And where, I dare say, the conscience of Nigeria, Nigerians, spokesperson, that in any way people who have spoken for Nigeria at times past, I mean, I will be loath to look at anybody that looks at somebody like Wole Soyinka, who clearly is saying, we need help, we need to seek help, and we need to get off our high horse on a regular daily basis. On a regular daily basis, people are being kidnapped. The Greenfield School children have just been released. I am not confident that we have a panacea. I'm not confident that we have an answer that can happen again. And God forbid, like Chivawolowo will say, I pray I'm wrong, that even as we speak, maybe something is happening out there in the hinterland. If Kankara and Kangara can happen, one of them are the backyard of Mr. President, who says, God forbid, who says that these people are not closing up. They are chasing governors, they are shooting at governors, and if they can shoot at governors and shoot at our legislators, then who are you, me, the ordinary citizens? So my point is that the scorecard is not indicating anything positive. I think we've lost our away matches, clearly. But I also think that miracles can happen. We've seen teams who've lost away matches. They come back strong, determined to do what is right. So the state, that is exactly what we are now asking that needs to be done. So the state at which we are now is so bad that we're seeking miracles? Is that what we're looking for now? Is it that bad? It must be. It's worse than bad in my in my own estimation. I look at the faces of those borders crying at the National Assembly. I looked at the faces of caring citizens of Nigeria who witnessed what happened during the Chibok. I still witness what is going on in the minds of right-thinking Nigerians on Leah Sharibu, and is going on a daily basis. Who is safe? Who can say is safe? Nobody can say it's safe. The economy of Nigeria is, to make it mild, not positive, because if unemployment is going and galloping at the way it is going, and we've not been able to do a data imprint to even be able to count so that we can plan ourselves, if allegedly or not allegedly we are issuing money, some people say it's printing money, and it's based on non-quantifiable fundamentals about output, therefore means our inflation will continue to gallop. Security, I've just described security, is just not out there. The trust deficit, and that is clear. I think government is aware. The trust deficit between those who are ruling us and those being ruled, I often look at it as a comedian and jester relationship, is festering, is going on, is getting to unbearable proportions. So even if government has a good intention, and they say, I'm going to put my hand in my pocket and I'm going to try to give you something, you begin to wonder what that person is going to pull out, even if he says that is part of government. I think is bad. You use the word that, we need a miracle. Yes, we need a miracles, but miracles do happen by a people that is set to look, like Professor Dora Kinwili said, and say to ourselves, we have made a mistake. And we must stop at this point of making a mistake and begin to make a redress. That can happen. And they say the fish gets rotten from the head. If you can get the head properly put, and we begin to now then redress a lot of these things, the next best time, other than it being done yesterday, is now. Is now. But are we ready to do that? That is the question. Great. Now, the point there is, if you speak to Nigerians, like you were saying, not just in the northeast, not just in the northern part, not just in the southeast,
every part of the country has its fair share of these challenges here and there. The only place, if you ask Nigerians, that where is blossoming right now in our life as a country is the entertainment industry, where young persons are doing all they can, you know, showcasing their talents and all of that. But apart from that, every other place has one. What do you think is the reason behind all of this, you know, potpourri of issues here and there? From, you talked about security, you talked about economy. The point there is, even politically, you know, there are, you know, these givens here and there. What do you think is the major challenge here?
I tell you, even in the Nollywood industry, our low-hanging fruits that supposed to be making a lot of returns, do we really have policies to grow it? I am not too sure. And does it really mean that even within that industry itself, we are not getting so many untoward things, so many unheard-of things that happened? So what then is really wrong? Even at the family level, between a father, a mother and the children, do people have these basic trusts? And it's simple. When you refuse to lead by example, when you make a promise and in measuring your progress in promise, we see it in reverse. And when this is brought to your attention, clearly brought to your attention, but this is exactly what you say you are going to do, and we now then veer into some form of propaganda. When you begin to drive a ram, and it keeps on going back, it gets to the wall, what's now going to happen? It will now then shoot back. Unfortunately, we had an inkling of that with the good positive side of the answers that, you know, the hoodlums took over. We had a dress rehearsal of what it is going to be. In 2019, you must remember, in 2019 in Sudan, something similar, Omar al-Bashir was ousted. As I speak today, Sudan has not known peace. In 2020, the mutiny that took off Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta in Mali, of which Nigeria, like you are asking me, and I said, oh, big brother, I know you must get back to democracy, it must do well and all that. It was on the back of a lot of hardship the people were facing, rising prices, rising income, and some random elections that brought in just last month in April. We know what happened in Chad now. All these are indices that steer all of us in the face in Nigeria. And so why should the Nigerian case be different? Is it because Nigeria is so specially built? And I say, no, we need to be very careful. Situations where, like I said, we are scoring own goals on a regular basis. We have not been equitable or seen to be equitable, even if we feel that, yes, I have my reason. As a pilot, I have my reasons because I don't want all of us to crash. We are not being communicated with in a way that is understood. In any case, you agree with me, Mike. Communication is two-way. So you are doing something good for me, and I'm feeling the pain. I have to be able to give you a kind of feedback. And situations where those feedbacks are being given on a regular basis, and you now begin to see those feedbacks. This is the point now. You now begin to see some of those feedbacks as disgruntled elements. I think that would be most unfair. And we must, again, like I said, be extra careful. In 1976, when the late flight Lieutenant Rawlins did all he had to do, that bloody coup that had to take, I think they call it a form of Ghanaian revolution, people are getting to a point that they are now saying, to your tents, O Israel, to drop our constitution. It may not help us. Obasanjo just made a statement that in unity, we continue to stay because we must be thinking of the minorities. So it should not be the Yorubas, the Igbos, and the Hausas alone. We need to now be thinking of the minorities who may not be able to stand on their own. There's a sense in there. For the very first time, the federal government of Nigeria running a federal constitution, which, in my honest opinion, is anything but federal, more of a unitary government, where the center makes a direction, and then the same center coming many years later to now then say the issue of kidnapping, the issue of security belongs to the state governors that you have not given under the same constitution the powers to be in charge of police, and you still want to
within their domain
centralize this. It will not, well, my own personal feel is that unity, faith, and progress, I go for it. It's been drawn at the seams, and I think the largest culprit is the present government. I also know that within the present government, even within the present government, there are cacophony of voices that says, well, this is not what we promised. Please, can we do this? Can we do that? And then all we just see and hear is a perception that maybe a mini kitchen cabinet, just goes around. And I'll give you another example. Mrs. Zainab, the finance minister, surprisingly, I saw a statement related to her that yes, we are going to go back into looking at our civil and public service, something that Orosai did since 2014, that is sitting down out there. The national confab that we are
all the reports are there.
They are putting it there, and for whatever reason, either because of ego or because of sectional reasons, we must get back there. We must begin to get into dialogue. And when people say they want to start to dialogue, let's talk, let's jojo. Because the way things are going, if we do not clearly come out and jojo, war is hell. And everybody's been saying it, oh, it's not going to happen in Nigeria. We can continue to mount it. But if what I am seeing and the projection that I am seeing, some people have lost out of power, there's absolutely no doubt about that, and they want to come back into relevance, even within the ruling party, with the opposition, who see that, well, I don't know, same, or 6 and half a dozen. We must get back to the drawing table. We must, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, restructure Nigeria. We must restructure our mind. And this is the time for men, women, children of goodwill to know that what the US and what the UK, European Union, are saying to us, that if the Nigerian egg should drop, it's not going to be like what we are having in Mali, Sudan, and Chad. It is going to overrun the whole of the sub-Saharan part of west of Africa, and that will be terrible. You see what is happening at the IDP camps? Exactly what is going to happen to vast majority of about 205, 206 million Nigerians. It is unheard of. I think time now is to put a stop to it, and the person that needs to put a stop to it on a car that is going downhill is the driver. We have a driver, and the driver must do the needful. I think the National Assembly too must have to do what is needful and correct the imbalances, the injustices that we have inherent in the system. They can do it. If they choose not to do it, I scare and I shudder. And by the way, Mike, we just lost an icon in Nigeria. Many Nigerians may not know. Her name, Professor Mrs. Felicia Adebola Adeyoyin. She composed, national pledge. Pledge to Nigeria, my country, faithfulness,
to be faithful, loyal, and honest.
To serve with Nigeria with all my strength, to defend our unity and uphold our honor and glory. So help us, Lord. This is a pledge that all members of government do, and they pledge on it. But what we are seeing is a total opposite. She died May 1, 2021. May her soul rest in peace. I hope it is not the Nigerian issues that despite our beloved Mama, she went at the prime age of 83.
Right. Well, the point there is our hearts go out to her, and Nigeria will certainly miss her.
Yes.
But we really thank you for everything you have said, and these are reflective of the state of things right now, and certainly we look forward to solutions. Every Nigerian looks forward to that solution.
The solutions are there in front of us.
Yeah, exactly.
But if we see a solution in front of us and we clearly are looking backwards,
then we can go forward.
That means we're not going forward. So we need leadership.
Right.
And leadership has to be at all fronts, from the household, local government, state government, federal government.
That draws us to the issue of everybody having a role to play in all of this.
We all have a role to play.
All right, we have to leave it here now. Thank you very much, Akin Fatunke, for coming on the program. Really appreciate you.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you.
And I wish my fellow Nigerians all the best as we plot around to get unity, progress, and faith for Nigeria. It's still possible.
It's possible.
I believe it's possible.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
All right.